Hey, good morning, Talofa Lava. This is Late Talk with Dr. John Peterson, and excuse me, it's been a while since I've been on YouTube Live, and I figured I'd get on board here and do a live video. Hope everybody's been doing well and managing the pandemic and everything that's been going on. It's been pretty cold here in Minnesota, sub-zero temperatures and mornings of -20, -10. The Packer game tonight in Wisconsin and Green Bay is going to be, I think, about 5 degrees at game time, and of course will cool off as the game goes on. So I'll be interested to see what the Packers do. They're going against a really good defense. I'm not a huge fan of Jimmy Garoppolo, so I think if they can pressure the quarterback, they've got a relatively good chance of turning the ball over and getting additional possessions to score touchdowns, field goals, that sort of thing. So, but I think the Packers are a little different this year. I think they've got a more substantial running game, and I think their defense is better than it's been in years past. So I think they're going to do well. It'll be a competitive game, heavyweight bout. And Packers are due. They, owned the 49ers back in the 90s, with the exception of 98, the Terrell Owens catch, of course. In the 2000s here, it's been a little tougher. They lost in 2012, 2013, 2019. The 2019 game was NFC Championship game. 2013, I think, was a wild card game, and 2012 was a divisional game. So, got to get up to Schneid. So, I'm with TE2 Consulting. We do a variety of things. If you haven't seen our videos, check them out. Like or subscribe. That'd be great. We do professional consulting primarily in the field of education, work with nonprofits, schools, individual teachers, educators, do mentoring, small business, that sort of thing. Also do some lobbying, registered as a lobbyist here in Minnesota. I also am involved in music and have written a book, and it's been good working those two angles. The music and the book go together, and actually the book's being used at a university here in Minnesota called the University of St. Mary's, and it's in a graduate program, doctoral program, in a capstone course. Actually, it's in a couple courses, but the main one is a capstone course, the last class that people take when they finish up their doctorate degree. So, and I do guest lecturing at that university, St. Mary's University, and have guest lectured other places too. So, but the main thing I wanted to talk to you all about today is TE2 Edge sports cards. A couple things that are exciting. One, I'll be heading down to Northfield today to meet with my partner, Eli McCausland, and we're going to take a look at the space for opening up a card shop, which is pretty exciting. I haven't been to Northfield in a long, long time. It's been years, so looking forward to getting down there. It's a nice town, nice city. Got a couple of colleges there, and they don't have a card shop currently. So Eli's got a spot staked out, and give it a look. And hopefully we can open something up in the spring when the pandemic cools out, and hopefully people can be out and about more safely. So yeah, been doing a lot of stuff with that. Been pricing some cards. Actually ran out of stickers. Went through 600 stickers, a full roll. I'll have to get some more here. I just ordered some this morning, and they should arrive late next week. What else? Yeah, so I'll go down there this morning, check that out. I also noticed that PSA has dropped their prices a little bit. They're doing something direct through PSA where I think you can get like up to five cards for $50 a card, but you have to be like a preferred member. I actually found a different route, $60 a card through a provider who's going to take a look at the cards, give them a preview, and let me know whether or not they're worth getting graded and sent into PSA, or whether they need to be sent back to me because they're not in good enough condition. So what I did was I went through, I'm going to go that route. And when it comes to PSA and CSG, all of my submissions moving forward will be through a card shop. a third party. I'm not going to do any more individual submissions. It's too risky, and I think the card shops have a little more leverage with CSG, PSA, SGC, BGS, because they just do a lot more business with them. So I'll be working with a particular organization here, and looking forward to partnering up with them. And they also do consignment as well, and they will purchase my cards once they've been graded. So got a couple different options with that. It's good to have options. You don't want to have just one thing. So right now I've got my website, TE2Consulting.com, where I sell cards. I'll have the shop, which is brick and mortar. Have the Facebook store, Facebook page, and the Facebook shop. Got to load a bunch of stuff into a Facebook marketplace. Excuse me. And also need to, work this angle with consignment and selling. I think if you have 3 to 4, even 5 different platforms with which you can sell, in addition to eBay, you're not wed to one particular methodology for how you sell your product and sell your retail. I'm not against eBay. I think eBay is good, but I think you have to have more than just eBay if you're going to make it in this business. And so between brick and mortar, card shop, consignment and selling cards to a third party, eBay, Facebook, and my own website, that's 5 different ways that I can sell cards. And I think that's a pretty sustainable, diversified model for how to get the product out. So anyway, here's some cards that I'm going to get graded. You know that I've been taking a look at opening up a number of 85 tops cello boxes. I've opened up 2 so far. So this is a Walter Payton record breaker. In a 10, this is about $1,200. We'll see if it's a 10. Not sure if I'm going to send in every single one of these cards. You can send up to 15. So you can't send in more than 15. So it's just 15. So I have more than 15 here. So I'm gonna have to figure out which ones I want to send in. One of the Dent rookies. This is one that's in probably the best shape. Part of what I did is I looked at the back and tried to get a sense of how square and even the cut was. It's not 100% 50-50, but it's still pretty good. You see me talk about this card, 85 tops, Walter Payton. Centering on the back, pretty solid. I mean, it's next to impossible to get this perfectly centered on front and back with the corners and with the edges all clean. That's why when you go online and you look at some of these 85 tops football, you can see that some of them have a little off centering or a little bit of a corner or a little bit of an edge, and they're still gem mint 10. So, but this card, 1800 as a 10. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that one of these 3 bears, Payton, the Dent, which is 2200 as a 10, and the record breaker, which is 1200, come back as a 10. If I get 110 out of those 3, I'll be really happy. Let's go over to these 2 cards. So I got these 85 tops passing leaders, Joe Montana, Dan Marino. This card, the centering on back, pretty solid for that one. Pretty solid for that one. The issue with this card is the cut on the right-hand side. So, when you look at these 2 cards, you got to ask yourself, how does that centering look? I've seen a lot of these cards. I've got probably 6 or 7 of them, and these are the only 2 that have even close to 50-50 centering. But again, the chances of that happening are pretty slim. So I think there's a decent chance that one of these could be a 10. I don't think both. But if one is a 10, they are selling on eBay for over $1,000. And then finally, the Warren Moon rookie cards. Excuse me. I've got 1, 2, 3 of those. Of all the cards that I've got for 85 tops, I think these 3 have the greatest shot of having a 10, partly because if you look at the back of this card, the centering is really solid. I mean, it's not perfect. 45, 55 on the sides, probably 45, 55 on the top to bottom, but the front of the card is pretty clean. Same thing for this one. You're looking at about 45, 55, 45, 55, top to bottom, side to side. And this one's a little closer to 50-50 top to bottom. And on the side, it's probably 55-45. So I'd like to see one of these three come back as a 10. So if I can get out of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards, if I can get 1 10, I'll be happy. If I can get 2 10s, I'll be real happy. And if I can get 3 10s, I'll be 10 out of 10 happier than, just as happy as I can be with that. So next I want to go to 86 Tops, or 86 McDonald's football. You've heard me talk about these quite a bit. This is a blue Walter Payton 86. I really only have a couple of those that I think are worth getting graded. I've got a couple 86 McDonald's Walter Paytons in black. Here's another one. Really hard to find these perfectly centered. So, I mean, I've got dozens of this card, and finding it perfectly centered is nearly impossible, which, if any of these come back as 10, they're going to be pretty valuable because there's just so few of them out there. Walter Payton green. These are a little easier to find perfectly centered. So I got 1, 2, 3 of those. Okay. So I think those are going to be worth quite a bit. In fact, I think the Walter Paytons are going to be worth eventually in time more than any of the other cards. Black Joe Montana card in black. Same year, same maker. Another black one. There's only 7 of these graded in a 10 ever. So, and the gem rate is like 9%. It's not super high in the black. Black one. I looked at some of the blue ones and I just wasn't feeling it, so I decided to go with a few black ones and then a couple of green ones. These have a little higher gem rate, and there are more 10s in the green than there are in the black, the blue, or the orange. Orange gold, which I don't have any. I have 1 Montana in orange gold. And here's another green one. So what I'll do is I'll bring these down to Northfield this morning. Let my partner Eli take a look, see what he thinks, see if there's anything in particular that should be taken out. But then I'll send these in, and then they will get looked over, and they'll get prepped, and they'll get determine whether or not they should be sent to PSA, which I think is a great service. If they're not, they'll get sent back with the cards that do get graded. So yeah, looking forward to that. And $60 a card, up to 15. That's about as good as you're going to get right now with PSA. And I think going through a third party is your best route because, PSA doesn't give a rat's butt about individual collectors or individual dealers, they're interested in making money off this. I think that's the primary drive, and they know they need the shops to work with them in order to keep things moving along. So that's what I'm going to do, and I hope that you find something that you can do in terms of getting your cards graded as well. Long term, I'll still continue to use CSG. Their prices are reasonable. Their bulk options pretty reasonable, and I do have some cards that should be coming back in the next week or two. So, all right, peace out. One love. Take care.